Why Christians shouldn't pray for the return of Christ and instead wait for it to be as far in the future as possible. I think we'll start with the first part. Why Christians should not pray for the return of Christ. Jesus said he will return, so he will. It's not a request, it's a decree. It's not something to be, it's not a negotiation. It's not something you have to plead. It's something that will happen. It's inevitable. At some point, I think maybe people are even doubting what their Lord is saying. But it's just a camouflage. And I think also for many new Christians, as I love to call them, they pray for the return of Christ out of impatience, out of fear, and more importantly, because they cannot bear the suffering that they see and what they experience every day. And today, maybe we'll try to give sense of that suffering. So, why should they hope for the second coming to be as far as possible in the future? I will start first by just saying, the basis of Christianity is love. Love of God, love of others, love of your enemy especially. Not tolerate, not flatter, but love. And how do you love your enemy? You love your enemy by telling them the truth, by facing them. How did the Christ acted when he was alive? He spoke the truth. He confronted evil. He exposed the hypocrisy. And also, that also leads us to what faith is. Faith is not just proclaiming that you believe. No, it often, and most of the time, is about your deeds. It's about what you do when you have something to lose. And this will lead us to what I call the misunderstanding of what suffering is. Many Christians pray for the return of Christ, like I said, out of fear, out of impatience, and because they cannot bear the suffering of this world. They will tell you that there are too much evil in this world, there are too much suffering. When you look at wars going on, when you look at all the massacres that is happening in the world, yes, it's kind of unbearable, I would say. But I would also say that maybe your prayer is based on fear. When it's based on fear, it's not Christianity. No, it's just kind of your hypocrisy. I can say it like that. It's not love, it's fear. You pray to escape what your Lord embraced and lived also. And I think if your attitude is to hate the sinner, not only the sin, but also hate the sinner, then there's a problem. Like, save me and destroy all the wicked, save me and destroy all the others. I'll say you are a modern Pharisee, religious on the surface, selfish inside, quick to judge, slow to love, a whitewashed tomb full of bones and uncleanness. You complain about suffering in this world, but did not your Lord walk in this world? Did not he experience it all? Rejection, hunger, betrayal, pain, crucifixion is one of the worst deaths in human history, because you don't actually die from your wounds, you die out of suffocating because your head, you cannot maintain your head and be like that all day long, so you suffocate with your own blood. This is atrocious and took a long time before you die. Experience all that. And what you are doing, praying, that's it? That's all? Not that praying is not essential. I think it is necessary, but it's not sufficient. True Christianity revolves on to this trinity of doings, this trinity of things. First, pray. And this trinity is also model out of what Christ did. Pray. He often withdrew to pray, to strengthen his connection with the Father. He spoke. You have to speak as he spoke. He preached the greatest sermon ever delivered in the history of mankind, the Sermon on the Mount. Do as he did. He healed the sick, defended the oppressed, confronted evil, lived out what he preached. If one is missing, something fundamental is broken. One cannot proclaim to be Christian and yet pray only for him and a select few to be saved. One cannot just pray and preach without deeds on the scale of what he is capable of and call himself a Christian. Christianity is not about whining, crying, and begging. One can pray, one can act, but if one does not speak, if one doesn't take position, Christ will disavow him before his Father, as he is disavowing Christ before his fellow men. I think these are quite fundamental. And this will lead us to this conclusion, that is the Trinity: praying, speaking, doing. I think praying, speaking, doing is the Trinity of authentic Christianity. Pray without speaking is cowardice. Speak without acting is hypocrisy. I don't know. You choose. And act without praying is pride. Christianity is not passive. It's not fearful. It's not escapist. It's not about crying for rescue while doing nothing. It's about building, not bringing. Building heaven on earth through alignment of prayer, truth, and action. And yes, that process involves suffering. Because for one to build heaven, he has to stretch out his hands deep in the bottom of hell to retrieve the building blocks. So rejoice when you are suffering, not because the world is ending, but because you were chosen to help transform it. Thank you. Let me know what you think of it in the comments.